So currently we are pretty much at a luxury position when it comes to mobile phones. Every single phone is getting better over the years, and with that you get phones for a much lower price that perform what most other phones can do. Yeah, there are some drawbacks and I will talk about that, but with the Xiaomi Mi A3, it's actually quite a solid offering, apart from the display, but we'll get to that. Anyway, let's dive into the review about the Xiaomi Mi A3. So to begin with, the Xiaomi Mi A1 was one of my favorite budget phones out there. It really performed well for the price that you were actually paying for it. This didn't really change for the Xiaomi Mi A3. Yes, there are some key things that you do have to keep in mind when you buy this phone. For one, like I said, the display itself. While the 720p plus resolution doesn't bother me that much, it is mostly the brightness of the display. When it's really sunny outside, the display isn't that visible, and that makes it quite annoying when you are taking a picture, for example. Having it then at an angle makes it hard to see what you are taking a picture of, and sometimes this can lead to pictures not being in focus properly because you simply couldn't see it properly. But apart from that, I think the display is actually quite good. I don't feel like it's something that can compete with some other displays out there, especially with the A series having that AMOLED display. But apart from that, I don't really have a problem with the resolution itself. Yeah, you can see it's a bit of a lower resolution, but apart from that, I think this is a fine display. And with that, let's talk about the thing that is under the display, and that is actually the fingerprint scanner itself. This one is actually not as bad as you would think. It's quite good and it works pretty well. It's not the fastest out there or the best out there, but again, this is a phone that you don't pay a lot for, so I don't feel like you should expect it to. However, with that being said, I feel like it performs well, but what I really enjoy about this phone is how it feels in the hand. Yes, I know this is a weird thing to say, but it really feels comfortable in the hand and it forms with your hand itself. So it's really well done in terms of design for that. With that being said, I also really like this color, and the other color options that they have look solid as well, especially the white one, but I couldn't get that, so I had to go for this gray version. But again, this one looks quite nice. And it is similar to something like the Samsung Galaxy A50. What is also really key about the A series is that it has Android One, so it doesn't have an own skin like many other Xiaomi devices have, and that is really a plus for a device like this. And something else is that they actually added the headphone jack. Yes, you heard me correct, they have a headphone jack, but last year with the A2 they actually removed that. Not only does this look better, but this also has the freaking headphone jack on it. So something that I really appreciate. The headphone jack is not only for music, but also for instance, recording with a left mic or something like that. I feel like the headphone jack is essential because Bluetooth simply isn't a replacement to the headphone jack. Those people who say, welcome to the 21st century, don't really have an argument about why Bluetooth should be replacing it. They just say it's wireless. But the problem with those wireless headsets is that, well, it has a battery, it doesn't have a lav mic, it doesn't have proper audio for a lower price as well if you want one. The 3.5 is the better connection. But anyway, let's dive further into this phone, because else I'm gonna get stuck about ranting about that. Right, Samsung? Anyway, and then we're gonna get back to what I said at the beginning. Cheaper phones are getting better, and with the Snapdragon 665 in this device, I feel like in your day-to-day use you won't really notice the difference in terms of power, and that is something essential for a phone. I feel like if you are a regular user, this is something you can easily use from day to day, and this is something where I feel like phones like this really make sense for someone who just wants a phone to use for day-to-day life. It works well in that, and it works smooth for that. And for that price, it is really a solid offering. And this is something that the A series really does best from Xiaomi themselves. And then we get to the camera. Now, as you can see, it has a triple camera setup, with the main sensor being a 48 megapixel sensor with 0.8 UM. The second camera is actually an ultra wide camera with 8 megapixels of resolution. This is something again that should be opted before the 2x optical zoom. And the third one is a 2 megapixel depth sensor. But how does the camera perform? Honestly, it performs really well. Yes, it cannot hold a candle against something like the Samsung Galaxy S10, but this is quite a lot cheaper, and you shouldn't expect it to do so. However, with that being said, I feel like this phone really performs well for day-to-day pictures, and again, it can take some beautiful shots. Yes, dynamic range can need some work, but again, this is not an expensive phone. Then I would like to tell you about low light performance. I would like to tell you, but it's really hard to see the result when light waves are blocking the image itself. Clearly something with software or the sensor itself makes it that I cannot actually properly capture a low light shot. Especially when the light source is smaller. This creates this whole light effect and it doesn't look good. So in terms of low light performance, because of this, it's not good, and I don't think in low light it performs that well. However, if the light source is bigger, it does decent, but nothing really impressive. So at the end, the Xiaomi Mi A3 is something that you can easily use from day to day. It has a good battery life, it has the headphone jack, it has the things that you need. Yes, there are some things where it clearly saves budget, but apart from that, I feel like this is a device you can easily use. And I think an average consumer or someone who doesn't really care that much about phones, but does want something decent where it performs well in situations like taking quick pictures or something like that, this is something that you should really look at. Either way, what do you think about the Xiaomi Mi A3? Let me know in the comments below, and of course, if you enjoyed this kind of video, don't forget to leave a like, and of course subscribe and hit that bell icon so you get a notification if I actually upload a new video. Anyway, have a good one and talk to you guys in the next.